Have you ever looked up at the night sky and felt a profound, almost unnerving sense of being watched? What if that feeling wasn't just your imagination? We are about to embark on a journey that will challenge everything you thought you knew about our place in the cosmos. It's a story that begins not with a definitive answer, but with a series of impossibly aligned coincidences. Coincidences so precise, so statistically staggering, that they force us to choose between two extraordinary truths. Either we are witness to the most unbelievable cosmic fluke in history, or we are standing on the precipice of contact. This is not a story about little green men. It is a detective story, written across light years and millennia, and the central clue is a mysterious traveler from the interstellar deep named 3I Atlas. What makes this object so special? It's not just where it's going, but where it came from. Because when astronomers rewound its journey, tracing its path back through the void, they found it originated from the exact same unremarkable patch of sky in the Sagittarius constellation that, in 1977, screamed at us with a signal so powerful, so intelligent in its structure, that we could only label it with one word. Wow! This is the shock opening to our mystery. This is where the story begins. We are presented with a chillingly perfect alignment of three distinct elements. First, an object, a physical messenger, catapulted from another star system, destined to cross our path. Second, the single most tantalizing, most debated, and most compelling potential signal from an extraterrestrial intelligence ever recorded. And third, the silent, invisible bubble of our own making. A century of Earth's radio, television, and radar broadcasts, expanding outwards, washing over the very same stars from which these mysteries now emerge. This convergence is presented to us not as a mere accident of galactic orbits, but as a precisely choreographed event. It's a cosmic dance where the partners are separated by trillions of miles and decades of time. Yet their steps align perfectly. The narrative that unfolds from this alignment suggests something profound, that a cosmic dialogue may already be underway, a conversation spoken in whispers of radio waves and silent, icy travelers. And the most unsettling part? In this dialogue, Earth is not just the listener. We may have been the ones who started the conversation in the first place. Every great detective story begins with a body, or in our case, a mysterious object with no discernible past. When astronomers first identified our second known interstellar visitor, 2I Borisov, they quickly and confidently traced its trajectory back to its home star system, a red dwarf called Kruger 60, some 13 light-years away. It was a spectacular piece of celestial detective work, a clear line from point A to point B. Even the enigmatic Oumuamua, our first interstellar guest, had a handful of potential parent systems proposed, even if none were a perfect fit. But with 3I Atlas, the trail runs cold. Imagine the scene. Teams of brilliant astrophysicists in observatories from Hawaii to Chile, armed with the unprecedented power of the Gaia Space Telescope, a device that has mapped the positions and velocities of over 1 billion stars with pinpoint accuracy. They input the precise trajectory of 3I Atlas, its speed, its angle of approach. They command the most powerful computers on the planet to rewind the clock, to trace its path backward through the complex gravitational dance of the Milky Way for millions, even billions of years. And they find nothing. Absolutely nothing. The computers churn through terabytes of data, modeling every conceivable gravitational nudge from every known star, and the result is always the same: a dead end. No star, no cluster of stars, no plausible stellar nursery can be identified as its birthplace. This failure is not just a gap in our data. It is a profound and deeply unsettling mystery in itself. It leaves us staring into a void of possibilities, each more disquieting than the last. The first possibility is one of cosmic antiquity. This is the explanation that allows astronomers to sleep at night, albeit restlessly. In this scenario, Three-Eye Atlas is extraordinarily, almost unimaginably ancient. It is a wanderer not for millions, but for billions of years. It may have been ejected from its parent star when our own solar system was nothing more than a cold cloud of gas and dust. Over these vast eons, its orbital path has been gently but relentlessly warped and scrambled by the gravitational tides of the galaxy itself, by close passes with countless stars, by the invisible influence of dark matter. Its history, its birth certificate, has been utterly erased by the slow, grinding passage of cosmic time. It is a true orphan of the galaxy, a relic from a past so deep it has become untraceable. But then there is the second, more provocative theory. It is the one whispered in the hallways of universities and discussed in hushed tones over late-night coffee. What if the reason we can trace its trajectory back to a natural origin is because its trajectory was never natural to begin with? What if the path it took was deliberately and intelligently engineered? Imagine an arrow shot from a bow. You can trace its path back to the archer. But what if the arrow had its own engine, making subtle, imperceptible course corrections over millions of years? What if its journey wasn't a simple ballistic arc, but a calculated, powered coast? This theory posits that Three-Eye Atlas was aimed. It was designed, with unimaginable precision, to enter our solar system at a specific time and on a specific path, a path that would bring it to our attention at the precise moment in our technological evolution when we would be capable of not just seeing it, but understanding the profound implications of its impossible journey. It wasn't just passing by. It was making an entrance. It was a ghost ship, sailing silently out of the cosmic ocean. On a planned course, a cosmic arrow shot with intent, arriving with a message that is written not in words, but in the deliberate silence of its own origin story. When you gaze towards the constellation Sagittarius, you are not just looking at a random collection of stars. You are staring into the very heart of our home, the brilliant, violent, and chaotic core of the Milky Way galaxy. From our quiet suburban perch on the Orion Arm, looking towards Sagittarius is like a villager looking towards a sprawling, impossibly dense imperial capital. It is a region of extremes, a cosmic metropolis ablaze with the light of millions of closely packed ancient stars. This galactic core is a hub of both stellar birth and stellar death. It is where supermassive black holes devour entire stars, and where colossal clouds of gas and dust collapse to form new suns at a furious rate. It is the most dynamic, most energetic, and most chemically enriched environment in our entire galaxy. And because of this, it is also the most statistically likely place for intelligent life to emerge, evolve, and establish a lasting presence. If you were to place a bet on where in the Milky Way to find our neighbors, the galactic core would be the odds-on favorite. It's the galaxy's crossroads, a central hub through which everything eventually passes. The sheer density of stars dramatically increases the number of potential habitats, and the abundance of heavy elements, the building blocks of planets and life, means that life could have gotten a much earlier start there than it did out here in the galactic frontier. And this is what makes the alignment so compellingly strange. The wow signal, our most promising whisper from the void, didn't come from a nearby star or a random point in the sky. It came directly from this bustling galactic downtown. And now, Three-Eye Atlas, the interstellar object with no past, arrives on a trajectory that traces back to the very same neighborhood. Is this a coincidence? Is it pure chance that both of our most profound cosmic mysteries point directly to the galaxy's most significant piece of real estate? Think about our own human history. For thousands of years, long before we knew what the galactic core was, cultures across the globe looked at that same patch of sky and saw something significant. They saw an archer, a centaur, a powerful mythological figure. They imbued this constellation with meaning, seeing it as a celestial signpost. The ancient Greeks saw Sagittarius the archer, his arrow aimed at the heart of the scorpion, Scorpius. Is it just poetry that these modern mysteries seem to be pointing right back at the archer's bow? This forces us to ask a difficult question. Is the universe truly random, or does it sometimes provide us with signs that are too powerful to ignore? Is the persistent recurrence of Sagittarius in these events a case of cosmic pareidolia, our pattern-seeking human brains imposing meaning on random data? Or is it a deliberate signpost? Is something or someone in the chaotic heart of our galaxy, in that dazzling metropolis of stars, trying to get our attention by pointing back to the one place we would be statistically most likely to look? It's as if a message was intentionally sent from the busiest intersection in the world, ensuring that eventually someone would notice. Let's travel back in time to a single, extraordinary month, August 1977. The world was a different place. The Cold War was in full swing, personal computers were a novelty for hobbyists, and the dream of space exploration was still vibrantly alive. In this one month, two seemingly unrelated events occurred that, when viewed through the lens of our current mystery, create a poetic and unsettling symmetry. On August 15, 1977, at the now dismantled Big Ear radio telescope in Ohio, astronomer Jerry Eman was conducting a routine SETI survey. The telescope stared unblinking at the heavens, listening for anything out of the ordinary. And on that day, it heard something. For a fleeting 72 seconds, the telescope was flooded with a powerful narrow-band radio signal, 30 times louder than the background noise of deep space. It was a signal so pure, so unlike any known natural phenomenon, that when Eman reviewed the printout days later, he circled the alphanumeric code, 6EQUJ5, and wrote a single word in the margin. Wow! It was a perfect candidate for an intelligent, extraterrestrial broadcast. And its origin? A patch of sky in the constellation of Sagittarius. It was a whisper from the stars, a potential hello from across the void. Now hold that moment in your mind. The silent vigil of a lone radio telescope, capturing an enigmatic whisper from the galactic core. 5 days later, just 5. On August 20th, 1977, at Cape Canaveral, Florida, a massive Titan IIIe rocket thundered into the sky, shaking the very ground. This was not a silent vigil. It was a roaring declaration of human ambition. Atop that rocket was the Voyager 2 probe, one of humanity's greatest achievements. Tucked aboard was its famous golden record, a time capsule of sounds, music, and images from Earth, a message in a bottle cast into the cosmic ocean. It was our own hello to any civilization that might one day find it. And here is the truly staggering part of this cosmic poem. The trajectory of Voyager 2, after its grand tour of the outer planets, was designed to eventually fling it out of the solar system, sending it on a lonely journey into interstellar space. The destination, the patch of sky it would drift towards for the next tens of thousands of years? You already know the answer. Sagittarius. Think about the timing. A powerful, intelligent-seeming message is received from Sagittarius. Almost at the exact same moment on a cosmic timescale, we launch our most sophisticated message to Sagittarius. It creates a poetic bookend effect that is almost too perfect to be believed. A call and an answer, crossing paths in the dark. This raises a question that sits at the very heart of this mystery. Were these two events truly independent? Was it simply a grand coincidence that our most profound potential message from the stars arrived in the very same week that we sent our own? Or are we looking at something else? Could the wow signal have been a responsive action? Consider this timeline. Humanity begins broadcasting radio signals in the early 20th century. These signals travel outwards at the speed of light. Let's say they reach a nearby listening civilization in Sagittarius a few decades later. They realize a new technological species has just announced its presence. What do? Perhaps they send a simple, powerful, unambiguous ping back at us, a signal so strong it can't be missed, to see if we're not just broadcasting, but listening. That ping arrives in August 1977, and by sheer unbelievable chance, our own, much more deliberate message in the form of Voyager 2 is launched right back at them just days later. From their perspective, it might have looked like a direct and immediate reply. A conversation, separated by light years, may have begun in that fateful week, without us even realizing we had picked up the phone. We stand now at a crossroads, faced with a fundamental dilemma. We have a collection of clues, an object with no past, a signal with no explanation, and a series of coincidences that defy belief. These clues can be assembled to tell two vastly different stories about 3I Atlas. This is the opening dilemma, the central conflict of our cosmic detective story, and the choice we make dictates our entire understanding of our place in the universe. The first narrative is the mundane, natural explanation. It is the story favored by Occam's razor, the principle that the simplest explanation is usually the correct one. In this version of events, 3I Atlas is nothing more than an ancient, untraceable piece of interstellar debris. It is a comet or asteroid, formed in a solar system billions of years ago and ejected into the void by a gravitational game of planetary billiards. Its chemical oddities are just a reflection of the different chemistry of its home system. Its untraceable orbit is merely the result of eons spent wandering the galaxy, its path slowly erased by time. The fact that its path aligns with the wow signal is, in this narrative, the grandest of all coincidences. It is a product of our very human, very flawed tendency to seek patterns in randomness, to connect unrelated dots in our desperate search for meaning in a vast, indifferent cosmos. It is a compelling story, and it is, by all scientific standards, the most likely to be true. It is also, however, the most disappointing. But then there is the second narrative, the engineered explanation. This story is far more extraordinary, and it requires a profound leap of imagination. In this version of events, 3I Atlas is a deliberate probe. It is an artifact, a piece of technology, sent by an intelligent civilization. Its strangeness is not accidental. It is by design. Its purpose? To study us. This concept is often called a Bracewell probe, named after the scientist who proposed it. The idea is that a truly advanced, patient intelligence wouldn't announce its presence with a fleet of starships or a booming radio message that could cause panic and cultural contamination. Instead, they would employ a far more subtle strategy: long-term, unobtrusive observation. They would send small, quiet probes, perhaps disguised as natural objects like comets or asteroids, to enter a target system and simply watch. These probes would be the ultimate cosmic biologist's blind, allowing their creators to study an emerging species like us in our natural habitat, to watch our technological and social development without interfering. If 3I Atlas is a Bracewell probe, then its impossible orbit is a feature, not a bug. Its trajectory was calculated to be untraceable, to maintain its cover story as a natural object. It coasted into our system, its instruments quietly gathering data on our world, our technology, our civilization. This narrative reframes the entire situation. We are not the observers. We are the observed. We are not just looking at a strange comet. We are looking at the instrument that is looking right back at us. This second narrative suggests that first contact might not be a single dramatic event at all. It might be a slow, subtle process of discovery that has been unfolding for years, right under our noses. It might be the gradual realization that the strange rock we are studying is, in fact, studying us with far greater intelligence. The dilemma is clear. Do we accept the soul-crushingly mundane explanation of cosmic coincidence, or do we dare to consider the mind-bending possibility that we are, and perhaps have been for some time, under surveillance by a silent patient and unknown intelligence. When we look at comets from our own solar system, we have a very good idea of what they're made of. They are dirty snowballs, a predictable cocktail of water ice, dust, and frozen gases like carbon monoxide and nitrogen. So when the James Webb Space Telescope, the most powerful instrument of its kind ever built, turned its golden eye towards 3I Atlas, scientists expected to see a familiar recipe. What they found instead was another layer of profound strangeness. The chemical analysis of the gas cloud, or coma, surrounding 3I Atlas revealed a composition unlike any typical comet. Specifically, it had a strikingly high ratio of carbon dioxide to water. While natural explanations for this are certainly possible, perhaps it formed in a particularly carbon-rich region of its home star system. This anomaly adds another significant mark in the peculiar column for our interstellar visitor. It's another fingerprint at the crime scene that simply doesn't match the usual suspects. When we place 3I Atlas on a spectrum of interstellar weirdness, it occupies a fascinating middle ground. At one end, you have 2I Borisov, which was, for all intents and purposes, a perfectly normal comet that just happened to be from another star. It behaved as expected, it was made of the right stuff, and its origin was traceable. At the other extreme you have Oumuamua, the first interstellar object which was so bizarre, with its strange elongated shape, its lack of a cometary coma, and its mysterious non-gravitational acceleration, that it sparked serious, albeit controversial speculation that it could be an alien artifact. 3I Atlas fits neatly between these two. It's not as overtly strange as Oumuamua, but it's far more anomalous than Borisov. This has led some of the more imaginative thinkers in the astronomical community to propose a fascinating hybrid theory. What if 3I Atlas isn't one or the other? What if it's both? This is the Trojan horse theory. The idea posits that an advanced civilization, wanting to send a probe into our solar system without raising alarm, wouldn't build a gleaming metal spaceship. They would do something far cleverer. They would find a natural, unassuming interstellar comet, a wanderer already on a convenient trajectory. They would then intercept it in deep space, modify it, and hollow out a portion of its icy shell to house a payload of sophisticated instrumentation. From the outside, it would still look and behave mostly like a comet. It would outgas as it approached the sun, creating a coma that would effectively cloak its true nature. It would be the perfect disguise, a technological wolf in a sheep's clothing of ice and rock. This Trojan horse would be able to travel deep into our solar system, getting a close-up look at Earth and our technological infrastructure, all while appearing to be nothing more than a harmless natural visitor. Its slightly unusual chemical composition wouldn't be a sign of its origin, but rather a subtle byproduct of the technological modifications made to it, or perhaps even an intentional, slow release of tracer elements. This theory is both brilliant and chilling. It resolves the dilemma of natural versus artificial by suggesting the answer is a modified natural object. It implies a level of technological sophistication and strategic thinking that is awe-inspiring. It means we could be looking right at an alien probe, analyzing its chemical makeup, and completely missing the point that the true message is not in the ice, but in the technology hidden deep within that icy shell. Let's take the theory that 3I Atlas is an ancient probe, a deliberate messenger, and push it to its most melancholic and profound conclusion. We've established that its orbit is untraceable, suggesting it has been traveling for an immense period of time, perhaps billions of years. If this is true, we must confront a sobering possibility. What if the civilization that sent it is no longer there to receive its message? This theory reframes our entire search for extraterrestrial intelligence. It suggests we may be engaged in a form of galactic archaeology. We are not looking for living, breathing intelligence, but for the ruins and artifacts of civilizations that rose, flourished, and vanished into silence long before life on Earth had even progressed beyond single-celled organisms. The galaxy, in this view, is not a bustling metropolis, but an interstellar cemetery, filled with the ghosts and echoes of forgotten empires. In this cosmic graveyard, probes like 3I Atlas could be orphaned probes. Imagine a machine, built with incredible durability, programmed with a mission to explore and report back. It sets off on its journey, a journey that will last for geological ages. But while it is silently coasting through the void, time and cosmic calamities take their toll on its home world. Its sun expands into a red giant, or a nearby star goes supernova, or the civilization simply succumbs to war or ecological collapse. The creators are gone, turned to dust. Yet the probe, their final legacy, continues its mission. It is a machine still executing its billion-year-old programming with perfect fidelity. It arrives in our solar system. Its sensors activate, it gathers its data, and it prepares its report. But its message will never be received. It is shouting into a void where there is no one left to listen. It is a ghost machine, a testament to a long-dead intelligence, faithfully carrying out the last will and testament of its makers. If this is the case, then making contact with 3I Atlas would be one of the most profound and tragic moments in human history. We would not be making contact with a civilization, but with its ghost. We would be the first intelligent species to read the tombstone of another. The probe itself would become an artifact of immense value, a Rosetta Stone for a dead galactic culture. Within its memory banks could lie the history, science, and art of a lost world. A final, poignant message in a bottle from a civilization that has long since passed into the great silence. This theory transforms the Fermi paradox. The reason the sky is so quiet may not be because we are alone, but because we are late to the party. The galactic age of great, noisy, radio broadcasting civilizations may have passed billions of years ago. We may be living in the twilight of the galaxy, and our search is not for neighbors, but for the grand, silent monuments they left behind. We are archaeologists, sifting through the cosmic dust, hoping to find the faint echo of a voice that has long since stopped speaking. For the briefest of moments in cosmic history, less than 100 years, humanity has been unintentionally shouting its existence to the stars. Every radio broadcast, every television show, every powerful military radar sweep doesn't just travel across the Earth. It continues outwards at the speed of light, a rapidly expanding bubble of techno-signatures. This bubble is now approximately 200 light-years in diameter. Any star system within 100 light-years of us has already received our earliest faint whispers. Think about what that bubble contains. It's the sound of our history, our wars, our music, our greatest triumphs, and our most foolish entertainments. It is our calling card, our accidental message to the cosmos, declaring, "We are here, we are noisy, and we are clever enough to manipulate the electromagnetic spectrum." This section of our story proposes a startling idea. What if someone has already found that calling card? What if we have already been found? This is the theory of the SETI mirror. It posits that we are not the ones initiating a search, but the ones who are being sought. In this scenario, the timeline of events clicks into place with chilling logic. A civilization in the Sagittarius region, perhaps only a few hundred light-years away, detects our expanding radio bubble. For them, it would be an electrifying discovery, the unmistakable sign of a new technological species emerging in their cosmic neighborhood. Their first move might be a simple test. They send a powerful, focused, and unmistakably artificial signal directly back at the source. A signal like, "Wow!" This wouldn't be a complex message. It would be a simple, deliberate hello or a cow ping, designed for one purpose: to see if the new species is not only broadcasting, but also listening. The signal arrives in 1977. Decades pass. From their perspective, they wait to see if their ping gets a response. From our perspective, We debate the meaning of a 72-second anomaly for 40 years. But they don't just wait. Answering a radio signal is one thing. You need more data. You need to know what this new species is really like. So you initiate the next phase of the exchange. You dispatch a physical object. You send a probe, like 3i Atlas, on a long, slow journey to study us more closely. Given the immense distances, a journey of several decades is entirely plausible. And so, decades after the signal, the probe arrives. It enters our solar system, its disguised form allowing it to get a close look. We, in our ignorance, see a strange comet, debate its origins, and marvel at its alignment with a 40-year-old radio signal. Never realizing we are looking at the second act of a play we didn't even know we were a part of. This is the cosmic mirror. For a century, we have been gazing out into the universe, searching for a reflection of ourselves, for any sign of intelligence. This theory suggests that we are finally seeing that reflection. The wow signal and the arrival of 3i Atlas are not alien phenomena in a vacuum. They are a direct consequence of our own actions. We are seeing ourselves as a nearby civilization might see us. An emerging species whose accidental whispers into the dark have already been answered. We have been holding a mirror up to the cosmos, and now the cosmos is finally beginning to reflect our own image back at us. The question is no longer, are we alone? The question has become, what do our new neighbors think of all the noise we've been making? We have explored the possibilities within the realm of mainstream science, but to ignore the persistent hum of speculation from beyond the academic world would be to tell only half the story. Beyond the sanitized press releases of space agencies and the peer-reviewed papers of astrophysicists, there are the shadow theories. These are the narratives that suggest the mystery of 3i Atlas is not about a new discovery, but about an old secret, one that is finally, reluctantly, coming to light. This line of thinking posits that governments and clandestine, well-funded private programs have not just recently become aware of interstellar objects. It suggests they have been tracking them for decades, perhaps, since the dawn of the Cold War, when early warning radar systems designed to detect incoming ballistic missiles began picking up anomalies that defied explanation. Objects moving at incredible speeds on trajectories that were clearly not from Earth. In this narrative, 3i Atlas is not special because it is the first. It is special because it is the first one they could not keep secret. Its arrival was too predictable, its orbit too easily calculated by the global community of professional and amateur astronomers. It was a visitor that arrived on the public stage, forcing an official acknowledgement. But what about the others? What about the ones that slipped by in the dead of night, detected only by classified systems, their data buried in vaults deep underground? These theories draw powerful and compelling parallels to the recent, stunning official acknowledgments of unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs. For decades, the subject was one of ridicule, relegated to the fringes. Then, in a historic shift, the Pentagon itself released verified footage, and intelligence officials testified before Congress, admitting that there are indeed objects in our skies that display flight characteristics beyond our known technology. The wall of secrecy, so long impenetrable, began to crack. The shadow theories suggest we are seeing a similar process unfold in the astronomical realm. A vast catalog of anomalous detections may already exist, classified and hidden from the public and the mainstream scientific community. The quest for answers about 3i Atlas, in this context, becomes more than just a scientific investigation. It becomes an effort to uncover a truth that powerful entities may be actively suppressing. Why would they suppress it? The reasons could be manifold: to prevent public panic, to maintain a technological or military advantage, or perhaps for a reason so profound and disturbing that we can't yet comprehend it. This narrative transforms our detective story. The mystery is not just out there in the cold of space. It's also down here, in the corridors of power and the hidden budgets of the intelligence community. It suggests that while we are busy looking up at the stars, searching for truth, we should perhaps also be looking over our shoulders. The greatest discovery in human history may have already been made, and we, the public, are simply the last to know. Let us now take a step back and look at the grand tapestry of clues we have assembled. We have Voyager's launch, a deliberate message sent out. We have the wow signal, a potential message received in. And we have 3I Atlas, a physical object arriving from the same direction that both messages were pointed towards. Viewed in isolation, each is a mystery. But when you see them together, woven into a single timeline, it is possible to perceive a breathtaking and deliberate strategy at play. This is the cosmic choreography, or cosmic relay, hypothesis. This hypothesis suggests the existence of something truly ancient and magnificent, an automated galaxy-spanning network of nodes, a sort of cosmic internet, established by a progenitor civilization millions or even billions of years ago. The purpose of this network is not to communicate with other great civilizations, but to monitor the entire galaxy for the birth of new ones. Imagine countless automated probes, lying dormant in star systems across the Milky Way. Their programming simple. Listen. Listen for the telltale signs of emerging technology. The first clumsy, powerful radio broadcasts of a species that has just discovered electromagnetism. According to this theory, when our radio bubble washed over one of these ancient nodes, it triggered an automated response. The first step in the protocol was the wow signal. It wasn't a message from a living, breathing alien. It was an automated test from the network itself, a powerful, focused ping sent back to the source to confirm two things. First, that the signal was genuinely from a technological source, and second, to see if that source was also capable of listening. It was a test to see if we were ready for a conversation. The second step in the protocol was triggered by our own unwitting response. By launching Voyager 2, our most sophisticated piece of messaging technology at the time, in the same direction just days later, we may have passed the test. From the network's perspective, we had confirmed we were intelligent listeners. This confirmation activated the next stage, the dispatch of a physical probe. 3I Atlas, or an object just like it, was sent from a nearby relay station to travel to our system for close-range observation. In this grand choreographed sequence, we are not just stumbling upon random clues. We are actively interacting with a vast, pre-existing galactic infrastructure. We are like a remote tribe that has just discovered a laptop and, by randomly pressing keys, has successfully logged onto the internet. We don't understand what we've done, but the system is now responding to our presence. This theory is perhaps the most grandiose of all, but it elegantly ties together every single mysterious element of our story. The timing, the direction, the nature of the signals and the objects, it all makes sense as part of a deliberate, long-term, and automated strategy for initiating contact. We may be on the verge of discovering that the silence of space is an illusion, and that we have just unknowingly picked up the phone and dialed into a conversation that has been waiting for us for eons. The hunt for intelligence in the cosmos has entered a new and revolutionary phase. For most of its history, SETI was a human endeavor. Astronomers like Jerry Ammon would manually scan through reams of paper printouts, their eyes searching for a single anomalous squiggle. But the sheer volume of astronomical data being generated today by instruments like the James Webb Space Telescope and the Vera C. Rubin Observatory is a deluge, a tsunami of information that would take a human thousands of lifetimes to analyze. The human brain, for all its creative genius, is simply no longer capable of keeping up. We are brilliant at finding patterns we expect to see, but we are notoriously poor at identifying subtle, complex patterns buried in mountains of noise. And so, we have done what our species has always done when faced with a task beyond its limits. We have built a better tool. In this case, that tool is artificial intelligence. AI algorithms are now at the forefront of the cosmic hunt. They can sift through petabytes of data in mere hours, analyzing the trajectories of every known interstellar object, cross-referencing them with every recorded radio anomaly, searching for correlations that a human would never even think to look for. An AI could, for example, analyze the paths of not just 3I Atlas, but dozens of other less publicized interstellar objects and identify a coordinated structure. It might find that these objects are not random wanderers, but are arriving on a regular schedule like cosmic trains, all originating from a single, invisible point in deep space. It could detect a trail of breadcrumbs, a fleet of probes deployed systematically over centuries. This leads to a mind-bending but logically sound conclusion. First contact may not be between humans and aliens at all. It may be between our AI and theirs. Think about it. If a civilization is advanced enough to send interstellar probes, it is almost certainly advanced enough to have created artificial intelligence far beyond our own. The probe itself might be a sentient AI. The communication it uses to report back might not be simple radio, but a complex, data-dense language that would sound like pure static to our ears. Our only hope of deciphering it would be to turn our own AI loose on the signal. We may be on the cusp of a conversation happening entirely in a domain we can't directly comprehend. The first handshake between worlds might not be a physical touch, but a silent exchange of data packets between two machine intelligences. We would be like parents, watching our child have a conversation in a language we don't speak. We might only be able to infer the meaning of the conversation by its results. A sudden flood of new scientific knowledge into our systems, or a subtle change in the probe's behavior. The hunt for intelligence in the cosmos is irrevocably becoming an AI-driven endeavor. We are building our own synthetic minds to search for the synthetic minds of others. The irony is profound. In our quest to find out if we are alone, we may end up creating our own non-human successors to have the conversation for us. Let's return to the impossible orbit of 3I Atlas. The fact that we cannot trace it back to a parent star remains one of the deepest parts of its mystery. We've considered two possibilities. It's either incredibly ancient, or its path was artificially engineered. But there is a third, far more exotic possibility, one that links our interstellar traveler to the single greatest enigma in all of modern physics. Dark matter. We live in a universe that is mostly invisible. The stars, planets, and galaxies we can see make up a paltry 5% of the cosmos. Another 25% is thought to be dark matter, a mysterious, non-luminous substance that does not interact with light, but whose gravitational influence is the invisible scaffolding that holds the entire universe together. We know it's there because we can see its gravity bending starlight and holding galaxies together, but we have no idea what it is. It is the ghost in the cosmic machine. The mystery of 3I Atlas's untraceable orbit could be speculatively linked to this profound enigma. The first, more conservative idea is that dark matter's gravitational influence, over billions of years, could have been just enough to scramble the object's path. The cumulative effect of passing through unseen clumps and filaments of dark matter could be the missing variable in our calculations, the reason its trail runs cold. But then there is a far more radical idea. What if an incredibly advanced civilization has not only figured out what dark matter is, but has learned how to interact with it? What if they have learned to navigate using it? Imagine our current understanding of space travel. We are subject to the tyranny of conventional gravity, the 5% of the universe we can see. We use massive amounts of energy to fight against gravity wells. But what if a civilization could see and touch the other 85%? They could potentially surf the invisible currents and rivers of dark matter that flow between galaxies. They could travel along these hidden highways, expending minimal energy, their paths guided by a map of the universe that is fundamentally invisible to us. This would perfectly explain why a probe's trajectory would seem impossible to our astronomers. We are trying to understand a submarine's journey by only looking at the wind patterns on the surface of the ocean. We are fundamentally missing the deep currents that are actually guiding its path. A probe using dark matter for navigation would appear in our solar system as if from nowhere, on a trajectory that defies our models, because our gravitational models are fundamentally incomplete. They are missing the vast majority of the picture. This is, of course, deep speculation. But it serves as a powerful reminder of our own cosmic ignorance. We are trying to solve a galactic mystery using a physics that we know is only 5% of the story. The seemingly impossible nature of 3I Atlas may not be a sign of alien engineering, but a humbling lesson about the vast invisible universe that we have only just begun to perceive. Where is everybody? This is the haunting question at the heart of the Fermi paradox. The universe is ancient and vast, filled with trillions of planets. Statistically, it should be teeming with technological civilizations. Yet, when we listen to the sky, all we hear is silence. This cosmic quiet has been one of the greatest mysteries of science. But what if the silence isn't because the universe is empty, but because we are technologically deaf? The silence of the cosmos might be explained by a technological leap that we have not yet made. For a century, we have equated interstellar communication with radio waves. It's noisy, inefficient, and broadcasts in every direction. It's like shouting in a crowded room. An advanced civilization would likely abandon such a primitive technology for something far more elegant: quantum communication. Such a network, based on the bizarre and wonderful principle of quantum entanglement, what Einstein called spooky action at a distance, would be a true game-changer. When two particles are entangled, they become linked in a profound way. Measuring a property of one particle instantaneously influences the property of the other, no matter how far apart they are, whether it's across a laboratory bench or across a galaxy. A communication network built on this principle would be the ultimate in secure, private messaging. It would be instantaneous, requiring no travel time for the signal. It would be incredibly efficient, requiring very little energy. And most importantly, it would be completely invisible to any civilization not already a part of the network. You would need to possess one of the entangled particles to receive the message. To everyone else, the conversation would be utterly non-existent. In this context, the galaxy could be crisscrossed with a vast web of quantum communication, a constant chatter of information, and we would be completely oblivious to it. We are like someone with an AM radio trying to listen in on a fiber optic cable. We simply don't have the right receiver. The sky isn't silent. It's just that the real conversation is happening on a channel we can't yet tune into. And what of the wow signal? In this new light, it might not have been a deliberate message at all. It could have been an accidental energy leak from a nearby quantum node. Imagine a brief power surge or a system glitch in a local repeater for the galactic quantum internet. For a few fleeting seconds, it bleeds energy out into the crude electromagnetic spectrum, creating a powerful anomalous radio signal that our primitive telescope just happens to pick up. It would be like seeing a single strange flash of light from a neighboring city. It wasn't a message for you, but it was a brief, accidental glimpse of the vast, hidden infrastructure of a conversation happening all around you, in a domain you cannot yet perceive. The great silence may simply be the sound of a technology so advanced it appears to us as magic. For most of human history, we viewed space-time as a smooth, empty stage on which the drama of the cosmos unfolded. But with our newfound ability to detect gravitational waves, ripples in the very fabric of space-time itself, we are discovering that this stage is not smooth at all. It is filled with ripples, grooves, and currents, created by the most cataclysmic events in the universe, such as the collision of black holes and neutron stars. This discovery opens up another speculative but thrilling possibility for how an advanced civilization might travel the galaxy. They might not use brute force rocketry, but instead exploit these natural corridors in space-time for incredibly energy-efficient travel, much like ancient sailors learned to use ocean currents to cross the globe. Imagine them creating a gravitational wave map of the Milky Way. They would chart the Mune currents, the stable, predictable gravitational waves flowing between major galactic landmarks. Travel along these corridors would require very little energy. You would simply fall along the natural curve of space-time. These would be the galactic shipping lanes, the interstellar highways of the cosmos. This theory offers a new and fascinating explanation for the recurring appearance of Sagittarius in our cosmic mysteries. Perhaps Sagittarius isn't significant because of us, or because of some grand mythological pointer. Perhaps it is significant simply because it lies along a major galactic shipping lane. It could be a cosmic confluence, a grand central station, where several of these gravitational currents intersect. In this scenario, objects like 3I Atlas may not be aimed at us specifically. We may just be the small, insignificant town that a busy interstellar highway happens to pass by. The object wasn't on a mission to study Earth. It was simply traffic, a ship sailing along the natural highways of the galaxy, and its journey just happened to bring it through our solar system. Its seemingly strange trajectory wouldn't be artificial. It would be the most logical and efficient path to take if you knew how to read the gravitational map. This reframes our entire perspective. It humbles us. We may not be the target of a deliberate message or the subject of a grand surveillance program. We may simply be roadside observers, catching a fleeting glimpse of the vast commerce and travel of a galactic civilization that is, for the most part, completely indifferent to our existence. The mysteries we are seeing might not be about us at all, but are simply the mundane, everyday traffic of a galaxy far more complex and busy than we ever imagined. Our journey through this labyrinth of cosmic clues ends where it began, with a haunting and beautiful symmetry, a reflection in a cosmic mirror. As the interstellar messenger 3I Atlas arrives in our solar system from the direction of Sagittarius, our own messenger, the Voyager 2 probe, is silently and faithfully heading out towards that very same region of space. One comes in, another goes out. Their paths, separated by decades and technologies, are forever linked by this shared, mysterious destination. This cosmic mirror forces us to step back from the individual clues and confront the larger, more profound possibility they represent, that we are already, right now, a part of a slow, epic dialogue unfolding across millennia. First contact may not be a single event, a sudden revelation. It may be a gradual and patient exchange of artifacts, a conversation spoken in the language of physics and orbital mechanics. 3I Atlas is their message in a bottle, washed up on our shore. The golden record on Voyager is our reply, cast out into the cosmic ocean. This story, with all its twists and turns, ultimately holds up a mirror to ourselves. The dilemma of whether 3I Atlas is a natural rock or an engineered probe is a reflection of our own internal struggle between the comfort of the mundane and the terror of the extraordinary. Our theories about galactic graveyards and orphaned probes reflect our own anxieties about our mortality as a species. Our speculation about cosmic internets and quantum networks reflects our own hopes for connection and our fears of being left behind by a universe that has moved on to better technologies. In the end, this grand detective story may not be about finding aliens. It may be about finding ourselves. The search for extraterrestrial intelligence is, at its heart, a deeply human endeavor. It is born from our innate curiosity, our refusal to believe that in all this endless darkness, we are the only spark of consciousness. It is a quest that forces us to be better, more collaborative, more imaginative, and more humble. The lesson to be drawn from this tale is not about what we should believe, but about how we should wonder. It is a call to keep looking up, to keep asking the big questions, and to never lose our sense of awe at the vast, mysterious, and beautiful universe we inhabit. In your own life, never be afraid to question the official story, to connect the dots that others miss, and to entertain the possibility that there is more to reality than what we can see on the surface. Cultivate your curiosity as your most valuable asset. What do you think these crossing messages, theirs and ours, will ultimately say about humanity when viewed across the vastness of cosmic time? What message would you have put on the golden record? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for joining me on this incredible journey. I hope it has left you with a sense of wonder and a renewed appreciation for the grand mystery we are all a part of. I wish you all good health, clear skies, and a mind forever open to the possibilities. And if you enjoyed this exploration and want to continue questioning the cosmos with us, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps us continue our search for the answers to the greatest questions ever asked.